Hey everybody, want to do some seated one-step training. I think this is a cool drill for self-defense, and I think it's also, potentially a good leg strengthener and good practice for just getting up out of a chair or off a seat, which many people do incorrectly, and it can lead to pain in the knees. All right. So before we get into the self-defense part of this, let's just talk about how to actually stand up out of a chair or off a bench or whenever you're sitting down. The mistake that people make is that they get their feet too far under them, their knees pushed out too much, and too much weight up on the balls of the feet, and then you end up kind of overloading your knees, overloading your quads. You should actually feel it in the back of your legs a little bit when you go to get up, right? So I'm going to plant my heels. You guys see the difference there as I plant my heels out a little bit farther. And then as I go to get up, I'm going to push my heels down into the ground and make sure my knees don't travel too far out over the tops of my feet. It's okay if they go out over my feet a little bit, but I really want to drive my heels into the ground. So I'm here and boom, and up, and see just a much stronger and safer way of pushing up out of that position. So what we're really doing here is like a little box squat to get up and out of that position. All right, so, getting up to defend yourself. So I'm imagining that, I'm at a table, or I'm in a movie theater seat, or just all kinds of situations where you might be sitting, and then all of a sudden you have to take some action, right? Whenever I go into a restaurant or I'm somewhere where I have to sit down in public, it's not like I think bad guys are going to come, rappelling down from the ceiling in the middle of my meal, but I do like to just practice some awareness. And so one thing, I'll actually do a couple things when sitting, like at a restaurant, for example. First of all, I don't like having my back to the door. I feel less peaceful when my back is to the door, and so I always avoid that. I keep that door where I can see it. If I got my kids with me in a booth, I always put my kids in the booth first, and I'll sit on the outside. That one should be kind of obvious. And I try not to pull up super tight to any table I'm sitting at. Like if this were more of a chair and less of a bench, I would probably angle that and sit on it more like this, so I have kind of a quick out this way. And again, is this kind of thing paranoid? I think some people might think it is. I prefer to just think of it as good practice of awareness that gives you peace of mind. If you go too far into this kind of thinking, then you do get a little paranoid or a little hyper vigilant, and that takes your peace of mind away. That's not what we want. We're trying to gain peace of mind here, right? Okay, so I'm sitting, and now let's just kind of put ourselves in this bad guy situation. So I'm here, I've got this attacker in front of me, and what am I going to do? Am I going to stay seated and deal with the attacker, or am I going to get up out of that position? I think it depends on a couple of things, all right? Now, where I am literally right now on a tippy bench with no back, so I really don't want to be here because I can't generate any kind of power from this position. So I definitely want to get up and out of here. So I have an attacker in front of me. What's the best way to get up and out of here? Well, not going straight into them, right? That's bad news. I also don't want to stay here. I want to push with one leg and get off on an angle. So I'm going to go here when I get up, all right? So let's practice that get up a few times. If you're seated and you're pushing off here and here, notice not straight to the side, because I want to get away from the bench a little bit, right? Like if I just go straight to the side and then this is right behind my knee and I'm still in a precarious position. So I want to be angled out. Okay, let's add a little counterattack to that now. So what we're going to do is whichever leg you push with, you also block with that hand. But you travel in the opposite direction. So I'm going to push with my left, travel to my right, and block left. And this block is just a big sweeping block, a big circular block. Push coming in, punch coming in, whatever it is. As I get up, I'll sweep that arm across. Now work on going both ways. All right, so let's practice this for a minute. Your proper get up, pushing your heels into the ground, driving yourself to one side. All right, let's add a counter attack to that. So hopefully if I've done this right, I've gotten off to the side of my opponent and their energy is still going toward the bench. So a good thing to do is follow up. They're still coming this way. I might follow up with that knee up into the groin or solar plexus and then come over top with an elbow like that. Imagine I hit you there and then this person is folded over in front of me. Bam, and I'm going to hit down this way. So let's do that combination. Pushing, out, knee, elbow down. Let's go the other way. Pushing out, knee, elbow down. Notice that when I push out, this block happens right into the knee. It's almost one motion and then coming back down. Good. Okay, so now let's talk about if we had a different kind of a seat. That might make a difference. Where I would consider staying in the seat is if it were really solid and it had a back, right? If my chair had a back, I could deliver strikes from that seated position, and because I'm pushing myself back into something that's solid, I can really deliver some powerful strikes to you. Movie theater would be a good example, although space between the rows, I don't know, maybe that's not the best example, but that kind of a seat, right? Where you know it's not going to tip and you push your back into it. So everybody do that. If you have a chair like that right now, bam, work on this. And kicking up is not great in this situation. I want to be thrusting in to stop that advance of my opponent. I could even be stomping down toward their knees to disrupt what they're trying to do, take their balance and their power away. So we're just working some of these. Cool. Okay, so what else about getting up and out of a chair? I think the idea that somebody could be next to you in a chair is legitimate, right? This person decides, like they're sitting here and they're going to strike in toward me. That's kind of an awkward angle, like how would I block that, right? So what I would do is I would take that close arm and I would just try to bring it up like a barrier and absorb a strike. I would grab with the other arm and then hit back this way. Bam, like a mini inside block. So that strike is coming, I cover, I grab the arm, boom, and notice when I elbow this way, I'm going to pull them into it, bam, this way. All right? Somebody sitting here, going to back fist me, I catch that, and I strike. Catch it with a closed hand to block, grab it with the far away hand, pull them in. Everybody do this a few times here. All right, this guy going to hit, bam, grab, strike. Notice when I grab their arm, I'm pulling them under to hit. Right? I'm not just pulling them straight here because then their shoulder's in the way. I'm pulling them down so that I can elbow over the top. Here, pull them down, elbow over the top. One more time on that side. Cool. All right, 3 drills for seated defense. Good job.